So we can go with that. And moving on, we'll go ahead and move on to the defense. So first defense group we'll talk about is kind of something that needs to be talked about. I think that's not talked about a lot, especially in Texas Twitter, is the linebacker room. This is more difficult than for me that originally thought about, just based on players that I'm looking at the roster now that I didn't think about previously.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Going on, we got Garrett Wallow, we got Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Kevin Pierre-Louis, Christian Kirksey, Neville Hewitt, Christian Harris, Jake Hansen, Kamu Grugier-Hill, Tay Davis, and Blake Cashman.
It's a logjam. I mean,
we have 10 linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you guys honestly think that the Texans keep on the roster?
5.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 or 6, but 5. I mean,
okay? One outlier is 00. I think they may consider him outside linebacker.
Okay.
So I think because right now on the roster, they don't even have him listed on the roster, which is weird. Oh, yes, they do. Oh, never mind. They got him as defensive lineman. So
okay, perfect. Yeah.
So because at first I remember they had him as linebacker, so we'll keep him at defensive lineman right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So going on with that, we got 10 linebackers, and we saying we're going to keep 5. What do you guys 5?
So we know we got to keep Harris, right?
Mm-hmm.
Harris, and then Kirksey, right? We got to keep Kirksey. So that's 2. I guess, I mean, you got to keep Kamu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, that's potentially 3. And then, I mean, I think, didn't they trade up to get Wallow? I mean, they traded up to get Wallow
last year, and then they signed Reeves-Maybin this year to a pretty decent contract.
That's my 5. Like that, those are my 5 with those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But what do you think, Julio? Go ahead and finish like your thought there.
So we said Wallow, and then who was the last guy y'all said?
Reeves-Maybin.
Reeves-Maybin. I don't really know too much. Oh yeah, him. Where is he? He's from Detroit, right?
Yeah, they signed him. Yeah, he played with Detroit last year.
And he was a captain. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a big special teams guy.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's tough because you would like to see one of these undrafted, like you would like to see Hansen, or I really would like to see Cashman make the team, Me
too, yeah.
But I mean, shit, I don't know. I mean, he probably has like the shoulders of like a 70-year-old man at this point. And it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, same thing with Hansen. I mean, like, probably the special teams guy, but I mean, shit. I mean, how am I trying to say this without sounding disrespectful at all? Like, as like kind of uncompetitive as people would try to make this seem, like it's a lot of guys that are kind of like in the same spots, and no young guy that will really. It's not that many young guys that will really just kick people like Kamu and Kirksey off their spot right now.
Yeah.
So.
Because those are 2 legitimately good linebackers.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Texans Twitter just consistently shits on every single one of these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Kirksey up now. But yeah, I agree with you.
For me, I say they keep 6.
I think.
I say they keep 6, and the 6 I have, of course, Christian Harris, Kamu Grugier-Hill, Christian Kirksey, those 3, along with Reeves-Maybin, along with, hold on, Hold on. That's 4, right?
Yeah.
Reese maybe makes 4.
Yeah.
I think they keep one of Kevin Pierre-Louis or Neville Hewitt.
Hmm.
And then I think they take Blake Cashman as well. Those, to me, those are the 6 with
So
Jake.
no Wallow.
No, I think so. To me, I think Wallow would be best served at this point in his career on special teams. But if you have specifically Jalen Reeves-Maybin as your special teams guy, I think he, your special teams linebacker, I think he kind of cancels out Garrett Wallow. Now, this may be an opportunity for Garrett Wallow to make it on practice squad. And I think they can keep Garrett Wallow along with Hanson as your practice squad linebackers. And, I think that will be ideal. But I think that if Wallow is not going to see significant time at linebacker on the field and he's going to be playing special teams, I would rather have a special teams ace be that reserve linebacker than, have Wallow holding a spot from somebody else. So, to me, I think just based on what they have on the roster, and like I said, I'm going with Grugier Hill, Kirksey, Christian Harris, Reeves-Maybin, Kevin Pierre-Louis, and Blake Cashman.
So you got Cashman making the squad.
I got Cashman making it. And I got, because I look at Tay Davis, he's cool, but I don't see him making the roster. He didn't do much last year. Neville Hewitt, to me, I think his name, when he came from the Jets, I really expected him to be kind of like that puncher, that pounder, and linebacker, and he never really showed up. He was horrible in coverage. Was a liability at times, which kind of made him, he couldn't play. They couldn't play him. So I think they brought him back to see if he could kind of improve or, give a veteran presence. But I think eventually he'll be cut as well.
I mean, I hope Cashman makes the team because he's a really good athlete and
I love the justification if you really kind of compare the two, Wallow and Cashman, for that last spot, really, because Cashman obviously has the higher ceiling, just so blatantly obvious has the higher ceiling, right? And if Cashman is healthy, he legitimately plays on defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I fucking hate saying this. If Cashman is healthy, you probably see Harris and Cashman playing together quite a bit. Like really, like he's that good. Like you just go watch Cashman on YouTube and you're like, damn, where's that guy in the NFL? And it's like on injured reserve. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's like watching Will Fuller highlights, and then all of a sudden you're like, where's Will Fuller? On injured reserve. You know what I'm saying? But I think I agree with what you're saying, AD. They're gonna keep one of those veteran guys too. And Reeves-Maybin seems like the obvious pick. But Leo, what do you think of those 6? It feels pretty obvious to me. Now that you kind of know more about Reeves-Maybin, does that make you feel a little bit better about storing Wallow on the practice squad?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And my thing was just, I mean, I just kind of said that because he was young and like I know they had traded up to get him, but if you could fit him on a practice squad, which you can, ain't nothing wrong with that,
So if we can keep Wallow and Hanson on the practice squad,
that's pretty solid.
And just to as a disclaimer, because we talk about this shit all the time, but Hanson was recruited by Lovie Smith at Illinois.
Played his freshman year with Lovie.
Yeah, and was his captain on the defense and spent 2 other seasons injured.
Yeah, to me, I think he kind of, I feel like for sure he's going to make the practice squad. If Wallow gets picked up or whatever, I'm for sure you'll have Hanson on your practice squad. Right. So we're locked in with the 6 linebackers. Let's move on to the defensive line. Another tough cookie. I think the defense is going to be the most difficult decisions compared to the offense. Defense is kind of loaded up the way they went about it in the offseason, whether it be draft and free agent signings. Most of them were defensive free agent signings. So we look at it right now. We'll start with the defensive line. We have Derek Rivers, double O, Adedayo, Adelalehi,
Who's
Roy
the
Lopez. I'm sorry if I'm
he's the international player, by the way.
right. Okay, there we go. Sorry if I'm butchering his name. Roy Lopez, Jordan Jenkins. I always get him confused with John Jenkins because we had John Jenkins on the roster last year with Jordan Jenkins. So we got Jordan Jenkins, Jerry Hughes, Kurt Henish, Damone Harris, Troy Hairston, Jonathan Grenard, Rasheem Green, Michael Dwumfor, Damian Daniels, I think me and Bab's favorite, Malik Collins, Thomas Booker, keeps going, people, Ross Blacklock, and Mario Addison. So this defensive line is a combination of both defensive ends and defensive tackles, but we'll break down the defensive ends and then we'll break down the defensive tackles. So what we'll do is we'll start with the defensive ends. Give me you guys, first of all, how many defensive ends do you think we keep?
Bro, this is kind of a weird one. Like, I think we only keep 4. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you kind of think about that and you're like, wait, like, damn, like that's what you at least need that many, you feel like, you know what I'm saying? But because of where our defensive tackle room is at, I would love to have just more defensive tackles, only because of maybe what the multiple sets you can run, right? But if I'm throwing a number out there, I'd love for it to just be 4 because I have my 4. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think, Leo?
I mean, what's the normal for like all like defensive line combined? Like, is it like 8 or 9, or is it?
It's usually about 9. Depending on if they're running a 3-4 or 4-3. If they're running a 3-4, it's usually like 7 or 8. It's a 4-3, it's 9, usually 9, potentially 10.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm saying we're keeping 10. I just have this, I have it 10. So for me, just to break down, I have 10 defensive linemen, 6 linebackers, and 9 DBs. So and that is 25.
Y'all want to start at the defensive tackle spot?
Or y'all want to do defensive end? I think we can go defensive end first, or do you want to do defensive tackle?
That's cool. We could go D end. See, I kind of feel like having Rasheem Green kind of gives you the flexibility to keep 5 if you like an extra one. Depending on the tackles, But let's start. Which one do y'all think is harder?
The harder is the ends. The hardest
Okay,
one.
Let's do the ends then. Let's start at D end. All right.
So go ahead, Bab. Give your 4 defensive ends.
So okay. I think so we keep Obo, right? The guy you get from the Los Angeles Rams, right? Okay. Had one of the highest pass rush win rates of all last season, right? Okay. Great situational pass rusher. That's all you'll want him to do is get on the field, pass rush. That's what you want, right? So him, Jonathan Grenard, and then Rasheem Green, and then Jerry Hughes. So I don't think like you make a roster spot for Mario Addison. So those are my 4. You know what I'm saying?
So go ahead, Leo, and then I'll give mine because I think mine is going to be the outlier.
I feel like they're gonna keep double O because like he's just like he's like the only one that does that specific thing, and it's not like we don't have like a Chase Young or like a one of those just elite edge guys. So where like he makes in a 4-3, he would make like a specialty rusher like obsolete. So I think you kind of have to take him, and then obviously Grenard, and then I feel like you got to keep Rasheem Green because of his versatility. And I feel like having Rasheem Green kind of makes it makes Jerry Hughes or it makes it kind of where you don't have to keep Jerry Hughes and I'm going blank on his name. The other Addison. He makes it to where you don't have to keep Addison. I mean, so I'm set on 4, but I wouldn't be mad if they kept Addison as well. So I mean, I think I'm gonna just stay right. I'm gonna just stay right there because I mean, for me, it's gonna come down to like really looking at the defensive tackles and which one doesn't make it. You know what I mean?
That's the heartbreaking one for me.
Yeah.
So for me, I see 6. I see 6 defensive ends. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like you're going to use Rasheem Green as a hybrid.
Yeah.
You're going to move him inside, sometimes outside. So he's going to be kind of your de facto 5th your 5th defensive tackle for me. So for me, my 6 would be 00. Jerry Hughes, Jonathan Grenard, Rasheem Green, Mario Addison, and my last one would be Jordan Jenkins. Jordan Jenkins, I think, makes the roster. So those are my 6: 00, Jordan Jenkins, Jerry Hughes, Jonathan Grenard, Rasheem Green, and Mario Addison. So if you roll with those, that is 6. And then I'm thinking that we're going to have 4 defensive tackles. So, like I said, my logic is keeping 10 on the defensive line, 6 linebackers, 9 DBs. You got 25. But my 4 defensive tackles, I'll go and transition right into it.
Let's do
4
it.
defensive tackles. I have Thomas Booker, Malik Collins, Roy Lopez, and unfortunately, Ross Blacklock. And I'm kind of heartbroken because I really want to keep Daniels, Damian Daniels. And I think that to me, let me go ahead and change it. So my 4 would be Thomas Booker, Malik Collins, Roy Lopez, and Damian Daniels.
Damn.
And so, I've been, get Ross Blacklock the hell out of here for, on this whole offseason. Get him out of here. I'm not a believer in Ross Blacklock. I think he's talented, but he's lazy, and he's going on with his 3rd year now.
Yeah.
At first year, you can say, oh, it was a scheme situation or whatever. Then last year, I think he may have had 1 or 2 flashes the whole season of showing some kind of potential as a high 2nd round pick. At this point in time, it's better to just cut bait and, let him find a place somewhere else.
So I guess I want to pose this. How about this scenario? What if, damn, you know what? I really just think you're right, because it's going to be Booker and Collins as that true 3 tech, right? Like it's just going to be so obviously them 2.
Right. And you need a backup for Roy. So
and it's not Blacklock. It's Damian Daniels. Bro, when we show the people of the Texans fandom Damian Daniels and we get to say I told you so, I can't fucking wait, man. I can't fucking wait. That's my fucking guy. Like that's why I'm sitting here. AD, that was like my heartbreaking thing, is like how can we scratch and claw and just just give me my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I just get this guy? But if you want to just part ways with Blacklock, that's great. Because it's one of those things where they love Jordan Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They love Jordan Jenkins. He played
a
last
weird,
year.
it's a weird obsession. Like they still have Derek Rivers, but I think they really do love Jordan Jenkins.
So, you know, you have Obo, situational pass rusher, Hughes, who could start. Like, let's be real, like he could start. Green could start, Rasheem Green, but he's going to come down and play 3-tech sometimes. Like he just is. Grenard, he's starting defensive end, right? Addison, situational pass rusher, which is how they're going to use him, right? And then Jenkins is a good backup edge.
Yeah.
Right? Booker, Collins, Lopez, Blacklock's out of here for Damian Daniels. Fucking right. Okay, I'm cool. I'm Leo. How do you feel about parting ways with Blacklock in order to keep a roster spot for an undrafted free agent defensive tackle?
I mean, you know, I think Lopez kind of struggled a lot last year against the run against certain teams.
Yeah.
Specifically, you know, the Browns and I know this early in the year, but the Colts, it seemed like both times he got worn down. So I think, you know, we do need a true nose. You know what I mean? I think that's what Daniels is. And what really makes kind of Blacklock kind of expendable to me is Rasheem Green. You know, the fact that he can, you know, play both inside and out makes, because I mean, I don't see Blacklock really taking reps from Booker or Collins in the end. So I think that Green kind of gives you the versatility to kind of, you know, keep either an extra edge or, or play with one less defensive tackle. So to me, I think I kind of feel like you kind of have to keep Daniels because he's like the true, like, I mean, how much does Lopez actually weigh? Like, is he how much above 300 pounds?
So schedule on the official roster, he's 318.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I don't know.
then
He doesn't really play like that sometimes.
yeah, and then he said in the offseason he lost weight as well. So look at him being more like 310 or whatever, whereas Damian Daniels on the roster he's 325, but let's be honest, he's about 340.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let's be real.
Yeah.
So he's your space eater that they kind of need, especially when you're playing Tennessee, when you're playing in Indianapolis. You need him on the roster to kind of plug and play.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, he's someone I could see really becoming a starter by the end of the year. You know, I could see him honestly beating out Lopez. Just because, I mean, I'm not as high on Lopez as a lot of people. Like, I've seen Ryan Kelly pancake Lopez several times and, like, by himself, like, no double team. Like,
yeah.
Hot take alert.
You know? I mean, you know, I mean, he's 340. I mean, goddamn, bro. Like, I mean,
and
you're not moving him out the way like that.
Yeah.
The biggest telling thing for me is when you go, you just, in order to really understand Damian Daniels as a player, you have to just go put on the Nebraska tape, every defensive line versus whoever's offensive line play, right? When Damian Daniels is taken out of the game, an option for smaller lineups on the defensive line, they are getting absolutely fucking cooked on every single one of those plays. Every single one of them. Doesn't matter if it's a run or a pass. They're getting cooked. But when Damian Daniels is out there, he's pushing the guard 5 yards back. Sometimes his assignment literally was just dive straight through the line, don't even pay attention to the play. And sometimes offenses would take advantage of that. And I don't know if that was necessarily straight up a designed play or if it was Daniels just saying, fuck it, like I'm beating my guy. You know what I'm saying? But really, I mean, bro, when he was taken off the field, they were getting absolutely chewed up on the defensive line. And it was just not even close. It's such a cool thing to see. Like one defensive tackle affects the entire flow of the defensive line, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, seeing the production he had in college, and then also seeing how well Roy did in his rookie year, how is Blacklock going to see the field? You know, Booker's a smarter player than he is now immediately, right? Okay. And it is probably going to be more productive immediately, right? Yeah, man, I think Blacklock's like, unless he just fucking is a world beater in the preseason or something, which, let's be honest, no one's anticipating that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like that, you know, six edges and four defensive tackles, and the reason is because of Green.
Green is your hybrid.
And I kind of feel like, man, as much as people shit on the D line, like, I think that's a functional D line. It's like having what's his name? Having Daniels makes the D line. I mean, maybe I'm putting too much on an undrafted free agent, but I just kind of look at it right now as far as like we kind of just have to have guys that could just do their job. And I think if he does his job, then, you know, I mean, if Collins is as good as, you know, anyone that would argue you down about it, I mean, he should be able to win. And I mean, same thing with Bernard, and same thing with, you know, Green and whoever else is there. Like, if he's just absorbing blocks on passing downs and holding his ground on run downs, then I mean, anyone on this D line should be able to like do their job. So
Yeah.
you know, I feel like you kind of have to keep them around because, like I said, like, you know, I mean, I think Lopez is serviceable. I'm not saying that Daniels is just going to be better than him. I just think that in that true one tech like nose type of role, I think that he should be better because of his fucking size.
Yeah. Straight up. And you know, it's kind of funny to I guess we don't talk enough about our opinion on Malik Collins.
Yeah.
Malik Collins was playing incredibly last season, I thought. Out of nowhere, Malik Collins was just like, that's our 3 technique. Like, that's like, this is our fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our guy. Like, we don't need anything else at that position. That Malik Collins is that. You know what I'm saying? He is him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's him. And we haven't talked anything about it. We've just been like, yeah, Malik Collins is the starter.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like that's it. And it's because he's legitimately like great on the interior, right? He's not somebody who's going to prevent you from drafting a really high draft pick defensive tackle, but in this defense and what we're going to run next season, like, yeah, he should be fantastic. This is a great 10. AD is a great 10.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So my bad, bro.
No, go ahead.
Are y'all really? This is probably the worst one, which is the DBs, right?
Yeah.
So
we're gonna split this one up too, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go. Let's go ahead and do corners first, and then we'll go safeties. Right now, the Texans have a total of, let me do the count: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they have a total of 16 DBs on the roster, which is a hell of a lot. You know, I think that, like I said, I'm thinking 9, so I'm thinking 5 corners, or let's say 4 corners, 5 corners. Which one you guys think?
5, yeah.
So 5 corners. So let's go with the 5 corners. So let's read off the cornerbacks we have. We have Isaac Yiadom, Tavier Thomas, Derek Stingley, Tremon Smith, Steven Nelson, Tristan McCollum, Desmond King, Graylin Arnold, and Kendall Sheffield. So those are our cornerbacks on the roster. So if you guys say, you said 5, right?
Yeah.
So what 5 out of that group do you see?
So we know the first one got to be Stingley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second one got to be, Nelson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The third one, I guess we gotta put Thomas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Xavier Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, I personally don't think King is gonna play corner, but I mean, I guess just for the sake of it,
Yeah.
should we put King there?
Yes.
Yeah.
King. Shit. All right, and then I mean, this kind of gets weird here, cause I mean, fuck, like,
So
I mean,
that's 4. So
yeah,
that's 4. So do you think? So out of those other guys, I mean, the ones that's left, you're talking about Braylon Arnold.
yeah.
You're talking about Jacoby Francis. You're talking about Tristan McCollum. You're
Mhm.
talking about Tremont Smith
Right.
and
See,
Isaac Yiadom
and see,
Or Sheffield.
oh
and
yeah,
Kendall
Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Hey,
Mhm.
and see, this is why again, like, I want my brain wants to classify King as a safety because like you can keep an extra 2 corners on the roster if you just put them at safety, you know. And I think that safety probably is our weakest position, right? Kind of.
Yeah, my thing is, do you think you go 6 and 3? You
No,
go 6 corners and 3 safeties and have King be your hybrid?
yeah, well, let's just count. So Petrie's gonna be a safety.
Yeah, so you say the 3 safeties you would say would be MJ Stewart, Petrie, and preferably Jonathan Owens, but financially it would be Eric Murray.
Okay.
So that's why I had 5 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting King as a corner?
Putting King as a corner. My 5 corners would be Thomas, Stingley, King, Nelson, and Tremont Smith.
Okay. So you don't think Jimmy Moreland is gonna make? Well, Jimmy Moreland got cut. Who's the other guy we just said?
Kendall Sheffield.
Sheffield. You don't think Sheffield's gonna make it?
I don't think he takes. So the element about it is that Tremont Smith is your returner.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is that are you willing to put Sheffield out there, and is Tremont Smith that worse of a corner compared to Kendall Sheffield?
Mm-hmm.
If they're comparable players, you go with the guy that gives you that extra.
Right.
So if you consider Trayvon Smith and Kendall Sheffield on the same level,
mm-hmm.
then and if you look at it as well, I think we cut Jimmy Moreland last year. I mean, we cut him this year, but last year Trayvon Smith saw the field before Jimmy Moreland at corner.
Okay.
So if all things considered, I think that they really do like Tremont Smith. So I think that, and plus he's a returner. It gives you that extra element. So I think you go with him because I don't see Kendall Sheffield. I've never seen him return kicks or anything like that.
Yeah.
He may be a practice squad eligible player that you take on the practice squad, but I think your 5 corners, like I said, I'll read them off again, is Stingley, Thomas, King, Nelson, and Tremont Smith.
Yeah.
That feels obvious.
Yeah. And then you go with the safeties. Do you agree, Bab, or do you have any other suggestions?
The only thing that I would say about the cornerback room is I don't think it will be hard to play corner better than Tremont Smith.
Mm-hmm.
But because he was your returner, because he's like a pretty good and versatile special teams player, that is useful.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously on a football team. I'm sorry, had low power mode pop up on my screen. Because he's useful on special teams, that's a key element to keeping him there as your 5th corner. I think eventually you might see one less offensive lineman in favor for an extra defensive back or something, right? But
defensive lineman.
Yes. I think another thing here is that you have so many multi-talented defensive backs
Mm-hmm.
that it's just so fluid. MJ Stewart in the slot, Petrie in the slot, Murray in the slot,
Mhm. Yeah. And, speaking of the safeties, I predict 4, and my 4 are Petrie, MJ Stewart, Eric Murray, and Terrence Brooks.
This
Those
is
are the 4 that
so,
and the reason why I say Terrence Brooks is because to me, I think at this point he's a better deep safety than Mr. Biles, which is Jonathan Owens. I feel like Terrence, so your 4 would be Terrence Brooks, MJ Stewart, Eric Murray, and Jalen Petrie. And I think to me that you can kind of finagle that around. It's, you need a deep safety, and I think the best deep safety right now is Terrence Brooks. So
yeah, I thought, that one fluke game of Jonathan Owens last season where he literally won AFC like Defensive Player of the Week, right? That was insane. Like if he could first of all stay healthy, stay on the field, but then also improve, like build off of that. Goodness, what a dream scenario for your safety position, right? Safety is the only position I feel like I truly wish the Texans would look to upgrade prior to the start of the season. It's one of those things where I just like, man, I don't think any of these guys are worth a damn as that cover 2 deep safety. You know what I'm saying? And I guess we kind of got away with it last season using Justin Reed in that role when I feel like maybe that's not even really his role, is that cover 2 deep safety, right? But man, I just don't know what to think about the safety position. It's one of those just like we're literally just kind of gonna throw somebody out there at that free safety position, and we're gonna wait until somebody just sticks, right?
Right.
Right. That's why, like, I just can't see King playing corner.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, I damn near would say that he's probably, I don't know, man. I mean,
this is the thing. My thing is outside of Nelson and Stingley, who do you trust on the outside? My thing is if one of those guys can't play, King has to, if he's playing safety, he has to come down and be one of your outside corners, even though he's not the best, but he's better than whatever the hell you got on the roster now. Even with
the reality is that you're going to see Stingley, Nelson, King, and Thomas all on the field all the time. Yeah, I'm saying like they're going to be playing in every game, sometimes even all at the same time. Like you will see all 4 of those corners on the defense every game. But I mean, none of those guys are taking time away from Petrie. Like for everything from that I've heard, from John McClain, from people close to the team, other beat writers, they're like Petrie's coming in.
Cody, one of our, our Texans Twitter guys, Cody is very, very Bailey. Yeah. Very, very, very Baylor centric. He watches, he's super fan for Baylor, and he gives the most detailed breakdown. And leading up to the draft, he gave the most detailed breakdown of every Baylor player, whether it was Jalen Petrie, JT Woods, the receiver that ran at fast 40. Basically gave a detailed breakdown of each player, and he's continued to give breakdowns about Jalen Petrie. And Jalen Petrie is a player you have to have on the field. So I mean, if you're talking about even running a set where you have him, MJ Stewart, in the safety position, or him and Terrence Brooks in the safety position, him and Petrie being in the box with Thomas, with Nelson and Stingley, and King all on the field at the same time. I even said have a package where you have Petrie and Christian Harris as your 2 linebackers.
Yes.
And run 5 defensive backs along with that. So
good luck.
So I feel like that is I feel like 9 defensive backs is more than enough especially with the way they're going to be running, you know.
So multiple. It's similar to
Right.
the defensive line. It's so
Right.
interchangeable. It's so multiple, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You can put people anywhere. They're gonna have a Ferrari package on the defensive line, you know,
Mhm.
where no one's over 260 pounds. You know, yeah, they're just gonna like throw just absolute heat at you, right?
Mhm.
Could you imagine a Ferrari package that's like Obo, Hughes, Grenard, and Addison with Petrie and Harris at linebacker? That's just like speed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like they're going to kill you with speed, right? But yeah, you know, that's the obvious 9. You know what I'm saying? None of these other guys are really moving the needle for me. Jacoby Francis, Graylin Arnold, uh, Jonathan Owens is kind of a fringe one that I'd like to see us retain.
Mhm.
Uh,
I'd say potential practice squad along with Tristan McCollum, as I
yes,
think they're going to hold those guys as your practice squad guys.
and I would love to see Sheffield retained because I'd love to see him pan out. But
Mhm.
you know, if
He
if
could
McCollum
potentially
comes
be,
in,
yeah. I mean, he could potentially be practice squad as well. So
yeah, cool. Well,
I
hey,
can't
let's
lie, bro. Looking at this shit,
what's up,
I
Leo?
was just saying, looking at this shit make me feel worse about just the secondary in general, bro.
Yeah,
Still got work to do, man. Like,
yeah. We, you know, really the 2 brightest spots are our first and second round pick from
yeah.
this year, and I think the only other extremely valuable and great piece of the defensive backfield is Desmond King. You know what I'm saying?
he can
Where
really play everywhere. He could play.
yes, yeah, exactly. Also, just a general disclaimer: Jalen Petrie is not fucking playing free safety. Like he's not. You're not gonna put You're not gonna put Jalen Petrie 12 yards in the backfield. You know what I'm saying? Like you will never ask him to do that, and I hope they never have him do that.
Mhm.
Now, do I think he could do it? Sure. Do I want him to ever do that? No, because Jalen Petrie will be the first person to the ball almost every play.
Right.
Mhm. So,
Ran-
you know,
ran
if
paper.
you guys want to go ahead and let's recap the defense. We went with 10 defensive linemen.
Mhm.
We went with the 10 of O, Roy
Mhm.
Lopez, Jordan Jenkins, Jerry Hughes, Jonathan Grenard, Rasheem Green, Damian Daniels, Malik Collins, Thomas Booker, and Mario Addison.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
so,
go ahead.
yeah. So with the practice squad considerations,
Mhm.
right? We have the Adadayo Adelaye,
Yes.
who's the foreign player. I
Mhm.
didn't know this, but you apparently can retain him as a
Mhm.
as a
Yeah.
as like an international contract, right?
And he
So
doesn't count against the practice squad. He doesn't count against the initial roster. So
no,
he that extra player that they can kind of have and develop as well.
so they store him
Mhm.
somewhat. He's going to be on the team. Does he play on Sundays? Maybe. But you store him. You know what I'm saying? And you hold on to him, right? So and then as far as like practice squad goes for on the defensive line, Kurt Henish,
Mhm.
uh, and then some other guys, right?
Yeah. So, you know, but there are others. I don't see them, you know, being kind of impactful at all. But moving on to the linebackers, we said 6 linebackers, and I
Mm-hmm.
think y'all agreed on Jalen Reeves Maben, Kevin Pierre Lewis, Christian Kirksey, Christian Harris, Kamo Grugier Hill, and Blake Cashman,
Mm-hmm.
with potential practice squad of Jake Hansen and Garrett Wallow.
Yep.
And then finally, we'll recap the defensive backs where we have 5 corners, 4 safeties. We have corners of Tavier Thomas, Derek Stingley, Tremon Smith, Steven Nelson, and Desmond King. And then the safeties are MJ Stewart, Jalen Petrie, Terrence Brooks, and Eric Murray.
Yeah, and then the practice squad considerations for those guys is, McCollum.
Mm-hmm.
He pans out anything like his brother.
Yeah, McCollum. Right.
Do what? Yeah.
I was agreeing, yeah.
Yeah, and then Sheffield. I'd love to see Sheffield pan out.
Mhm.
And then Jonathan Owens, yeah.
Right. So I think, those are pretty good practice squad additions. And that if you do the math, I think we're at maybe 10 practice squad players, maybe. We got 3 in the secondary. We have 2 defensive linemen. That's 5. We have
2 linebackers.
That's 7.
Offensive
line, we have 1, or I think it's 1 or 2 offensive linemen. Deculus and maybe
1, yeah.
Yeah, we can say Deculus for sure. So that is 9. We have 1 quarterback. That's 10. We have maybe 1 running back. That's 11 with Dare. Tight end TQ. That's 11.
And then 2 receivers.
And then 2 receivers. That's 13. And how many can we keep on practice squad? I think it's 12 or 16? I'm not sure.
I think it's 16.
16. So we have room for more. So I mean, right now we're 13 or 12, 13 on practice squad. So that's a pretty good number.
Yeah,
that is a good number.
Yeah. So I think having that, we kind of set, and last but not least, let's just kind of glaze over our special teams. They're kind of already set with a long snapper, John Weeks, longest tenured Texan. Kicker, Kaimi Fairbairn. And then our punter, Cameron Johnston. And if you do the math, there's 25 on defense, 25 on offense, 3 and your specialty guys. And so we're at 53. Any, objections or any, last minute calls, or I think we kind of went through the tough cuts going through the debate about it. I mean, Ross Blacklock was a tough cut.
Yeah. Kind of, let's be honest.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the linebacker room was a tough cut.
Yeah, that's the one maybe where you load up with the guys that are already here on practice squad if you can keep them.
And then I think receiver was a tough cut.
Yes.
Running back as well was a tough cut with Dare. Other than that, offensive line maybe kind of tough cut. And of course secondary was tough cut. So just going through that, I think we kind of pretty much summed up everything. Any last words before we go ahead and close it out?
I just wanted to mention, sorry, 1 second, Leo. I just wanted to mention, kind of like one of Nick Casario's first things that he did when he got here was replace our punter immediately for a cheaper punter who ended up playing great, right? Okay. If there was an area where you maybe save money this year, or try to save money and replace Kaimi, I'm saying maybe that's it. Do I think Kaimi's good? Yeah, like Kaimi's good. Is he like top 5 paid kickers in the NFL good? Hell fucking no. So I could see a situation where we try and replace the kicker for a much cheaper option. But I mean, John Weeks, they've done some weird shit over the past few seasons with John Weeks, but don't overthink it. Just play the solid guy,
Right.
But that's it. I mean, that's a solid 53 to me. And if you watched our last video, that's an 8 and 9 team, right?
Yeah. So, with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. we're gonna sign off at the end of the day right now. This is AD with Leo and Bab. We're the hosts of the Black On Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, y'all.